one legion.
We are all.
We are one.
We are
Watching. Hoard Illuminati. You're watching.
Hi everyone, this is the Hoard Illuminati Podcast, and I'm Adam, and with me as always is Greg, and we have a special guest today. We've got Alan, who you probably know him in the Star Wars Card Trader app as Tatooine Dawn. Otherwise, you may also know him as the world's best Baru hoarder. So, we've got a lot on the agenda today. We've got just a shit ton of stuff to talk about between solo and card quests and stuff. So, first of all, Greg, Alan, how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hi guys, I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Good, man.
well. Lazy Saturday.
So, as always, we usually start with our Hoard updates. So, Greg, where are you at with Kennedy this week?
I actually I managed to tack on 500 this week, so I'm at 5,500, which is that's full steam ahead, man. I'm really happy with that progress. And then I got a ton of green and oranges back in this week. I think a lot of people were restocking after the melds, and I still had a lot of dupes laying around from TLJ orange and greens. So I had gone down a little bit. I didn't go crazy melding on Kennedy when he finally came up. He was the last drop, by the way. The very last drop, those tools decided to put him out finally. So I got that, but I didn't go crazy and mulch out my hoard. I hoarded one. I only melded one because I figured the melds I'd be able to get a lot of, and I have. So, but I got a ton of oranges and greens back this week, so I'm really happy about that. So it's going good.
Nice. Alan, kind of introduce yourself. I did a little bit, but tell us, where to find you in not only Star Wars, but the other apps, and what you're doing in all the apps right now.
I'm really simple. I'm Tatooine Dawn in every app. All 8 Tops apps, Quid, Neon Mob, now in Terra cards. I'm still in Kitten cards and Puppy cards and Truck cards. If there's a trading card and Discovery Card Quest, where I'm actually hoarding.
What are you hoarding in Discovery Card Quest?
I'm hoarding the Mars Curiosity Rover now.
Oh, okay. That's a cute
Very
one.
nice.
That's funny. You're probably the first order there. It's a giant...
Yeah, I realized nobody really was except for, attempting to get cards for Fusion, so I thought I would try it and blaze the trail, so to speak.
It's hard. It's hard to... You can only get one of a one... You can't do a bunch of dupes. You can only do one of a card in each trade. It's a giant pain.
That's the problem, but, every hoard is built one card at a time, so... I think I'm up to 45 of them now. And I started at 21 this morning, so while driving, so it wasn't a bad day's trading over there.
I think you got one off me today for one of those frogs. I'm working on that awful looking snake fusion. So I'm after some kind of damn gold-eyed frog, a red-eyed frog, or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it was. I still have 10 more of that frog if you want to come get them from me.
I need them because I'm about 10 away, and that's all I need for the fusion. So.
All right.
So Alan, where's your Baru hoard at? Because it was staggering last time you mentioned it. I can't imagine where
I'm glad you asked me my hoard first, so I didn't have to follow this Elvis over here.
5,500 is a great number for a TLJ card. I mean, that's the old standard for S1 monument melding. And for a card that's been out, 6 months, 9 months, and you weren't even hoarding it till the last few months, so that's actually a huge number.
That's nice to say.
But I slowed down on S5 Baru this week because I noticed Milton Fett, who hoards Mace Windu, has been desperately racing towards 60,000 with his Mace Windu hoard, and my S4 Baru was at 60,000 and change. So I started focusing again on S4 Baru. I think she's up to 62,920, I think, at this point.
Holy shit.
And S5 Baru, the Baru and Owen card, the white base, I think, is at 33,000 right now.
My goodness. That's incredible. You're the person in our group, for those that don't know, that we would love to keep pace with, but don't even know where to start.
That's crazy numbers.
Well, Well, a couple of you guys are hoarding multiple cards. For example, I only have one Baru in each series. You have, I think, 3 Dooku's right now.
That is true.
Being the Farmer has, I think, 3 or 4 Mothmas. And I think between the 4 Mothmas, he has far more than my 33,000. So I'm lucky. I have one card to hoard that currently only one other player semi-hoards in the app. So I have an easy path.
That was a lucky choice for you. It's a good character, too.
Yeah, she found me, not the other way around. I didn't choose her.
That's the way most hoards start.
Yeah.
For me this week, I hit really 4 big milestones with my hoards. I hit 20,000 S5 Dooku's, the Wave 1, the non-expansion, so I'm right around 20,200 at the moment, so I was really excited about that. I also hit 1,000 of the non-cartoon S5 expansion Dooku today.
The Come At Me Bro.
Come At Me Bro Dooku, exactly.
He's all bowed up.
Yep. So, in addition to that, I went back over 8,000 Buford the Friendly Yellow Trash Cans. And then, my biggest achievement this week, much thanks to OB to OG, I finished up my Series 3 expansion Rainbow. So,
Wow. Damn.
yeah, so I got the 2 and 3 count this week from him.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's major,
yeah.
dude. That's major.
Yeah.
Those S3s are tough, man. So many roadblocks on those. Awful.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
those expansions, I mean, a lot of those lows, even, not the lows, but even the oranges are really the equivalent of a low insert. I think we talked about that last week, Greg, where some of those oranges are in like the 25 to 2,700 count range.
Yeah.
So to build up, that rainbow, it was one that I never thought was going to happen, to be honest. I got the die cut of both of them, in very lucky circumstances, but to think that I'd have to get the 2 and the 3 were just out of sight, out of mind for so long, and then for them to really literally fall in my lap this week was such a huge surprise, and I can't thank John enough for that.
He's a machine.
Thank
That
you,
guy,
John.
he pulls down some of the most amazing trades in the group. Some of the stuff, he makes some big boy trades. I make some pretty, decent trades, but some of the stuff that he gets his hands on, I'm just like, I don't even know what it is. He made a trade. He had the collector box Ray Sig, the red one, the one of one of the few of those that survived the main, the insanity of that was the Ray, and it's the one. That's like the Tom Brady of those cards, and he had it. And then he traded it for like this purple 24 count Ray, and I'm like, why the hell did he do that? I literally couldn't understand why he would trade that 1 count Sig for that 24 count card. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, he really that's a major card, and probably a lot of those are sitting in dead accounts. And it's a purple award Ray, the Star Wars Classic style.
The Ray Celebration Award
Something.
Exclusive.
Yeah, it was
Get her done.
Yeah, it was 24 count. Now I couldn't understand why he was doing a 20 or 22 or 24 count card for a 1 count. But then I see what they go for, and they don't change hands a lot. So it was a big trade for him. That was awesome.
Yeah,
he's a smart trader. On the surface, going from a 1 count to a 24 count seems like, what? But he's a smart trader. He knows what he's doing every time.
Well, he knows all the values on all the apps, that he deals in. So he's a very sharp, very wily commuter. Really nice guy too.
Yeah, if I made half those trades he does, I'd just be pissing in my pants all day. I'd be like, I don't even know.
Likewise.
Especially now when there's so few people trading any good stuff. I mean, there's so many people have just kind of gone away, and there's cobwebs growing on an amazing quantity of really amazing shit. And for him to be able to pull down trades like that is amazing. He's like Indiana Jones at this point.
Got one hand on that idol, the other hand on the bag of sand, and somehow he always comes out with the idol. So,
well, he never shows us the bags of sand. Maybe that's
true. That's true. Before we get too much into Star Wars, I'd like to kind of go around the horn on some of the apps this week. I know, Greg, before we got on the air, you really wanted to talk about some tarot card stuff this week, so I'm going to give you the floor with that, and just really
they put out a couple of. There's a set that's ongoing in there called Scream Queens, and it's one of their oldest sets since the app's been going. They have they feature a lot of female in distress, the femme fatale and the last final girl type thing and tarot cards, and there's a lot of these B girls that do these movies and stuff, and they wear not a lot of clothes. They're not naked or anything like those UB cards, but they some good looking girls and not wearing a lot of clothes, and they're all kinds of weird monsters and shit. And so they have a Scream Queen set. This year is a little different. Previous times they've had them in kind of like waves where they do 6 and then an award. This one's a long haul. They're actually doing Scream Queens for the entire year, and then there will be an award. And there's 2 variants. They have a regular, a base that's relatively simple to get, and then there's a SIG, which is harder to get, obviously, on all these cards. And they dropped one. They must have put it in the app like at the crack of early. And I was pulling for another card in the Pandora packs, and I pulled this SIG that I'd never seen an announcement on. I don't sleep like normal people. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do stuff. And so I was pulling tarot cards at 4:30 in the morning and pulled this card. And I'm like, hey, what gives on Twitter? And they played it off and were like, oh, well, that was a sneak preview. It was just, the fact was he had put it in the app and somebody pulled it before he had a chance to put up a transmission on the thing. And then the other set that other thing that they did this week, there's they devote it's all this attention to these movies that nobody has ever seen. And one of their current features is this thing called Hell's Asylum, which sounds awful and looks terrible, but they have.
It sounds badass. Let's face it.
You think it looks great? Okay, well, it probably costs about $4 to make this movie. I probably spent more.
It's so bad it's good. I've actually seen it. I'm a bad movie aficionado. So
have you really seen this movie?
I really have,
wow.
Which is why when I downloaded tarot cards late last night, early this morning, and I saw that set, I jumped for joy.
That's fantastic. See, I collect the stuff, and I've never seen any of it. I have no connection to it at all, but I'm just an addict to digital cards. So they have a new set that came out from Hell's Asylum, which is these foil cards, what they call foil cards. And I was pulling for them in their regular pack because they say, oh, they're 1 in 3 per pack. And I look at the thing and I open a pack and I didn't get one. I open a pack, I didn't get one. In a third pack, I get one. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Well, I didn't notice at the time, but the pack, usually their packs are 10,000 or 7,500. This pack was 100,000 coins. So I just dropped 300,000 coins on this one card on the first drop. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I'm broke now. But they have this thing with the Pandora's box where you buy in 99 cents like Master Access, and you get 1 in 5 odds for all the inserts that are out at the time. So that's why I was pulling at 4:30 in the morning, because I dropped 99 cents to get the foil, and at the same time I'm pulling this new SIG that I've never seen. So it was kind of a fun 4:30 in the morning for me the other day. But there's only 4 cards in the set. I've got 3 of the 4. There's one more drop, and it's a daily drop, so it's a real killer. The counts on it are going to be very low, because anybody that pulled the first couple, I guarantee, are broke now. And I'm buying credits just to finish the damn thing, because I figure it's going to be really low count. So that's what's going on in tarot cards.
Nice. So, we mentioned that, Alan, you're now being a machine as you are in Star Wars and hoarding on Card Quest. So I want to kind of talk about what we're all doing in Card Quest, and we've gotten a lot of folks sign up as a result of our show, and to me, I want to think that we're kind of bringing a lot of people on, and I wanted to take a couple minutes and discuss how to kind of build your backpack, because that's something that I think is probably a little foreign to people who play a lot of the Topps Entertainment apps like we do. Slam, Star Wars, Walking Dead. They don't really have that game element. So for a large part of Discovery Card Quest, it's not just about collecting the cards. It's about playing the game and doing the battles against the other people with the Conquest game. So I know, Alan, you're doing Card Quest now. What's kind of your secret to building your backpack?
Well, when I started, I mean, I've had, some experience in the past with, collectible card games and points and playing against, and like some vague experience with that. When I started, I literally had 12 cards in my backpack and just played with those and got a feel for it. As time has gone on, though, I found my deck right now is set. It's been set like it is now for about a week without me changing anything out. I found, for those of you who don't know, you have basically 60 points and 12 card slots you can use to put 12 cards in your backpack. In the top left corner is how much each card is worth point-wise toward that 60 points. The larger cards that have more advance on them, obviously cost 8 or 9 points toward your total. But I have found, surprisingly, some of the fusion cards that have high advance and high defense numbers on them aren't all 9-point cards. Some of them are 8s, and I actually saw one that was a 7.
Yeah, they have a bunch. They usually have a 789, 789.
So my deck right now has 2 fusion cards in it, Hawking Radiation and something else. I have a few cards that have basically no advance at all, 14 or 15, but have 41 to 55 defense points on them. Because the 12 cards, you get 3 at a time randomly shuffled onto your screen. I like having a balance of advance versus defense numbers. So right now I've got 2 fusion cards in there. I think the Polar Arctic Bear is still in my deck. But probably half my deck is really small numbered cards just because I like having the defense numbers.
Right.
But with so many cards in there now, they're adding cards every week. With so many cards, there are a million combinations for those 12 cards you can have in your deck. But I love the fusions for the fact that they aren't as costly when it comes to filling out your backpack.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is the fusions are definitely they're very OP, and they are especially like the 8 and 9s are really almost impossible to block, except with another fusion, which is I hardly ever do that. Some of them have 70, 80 block, which is pretty big. But when you're dropping 125 or even 135, if you're on the right field with a sperm whale, not too many things are gonna stop that. It's usually a 2-card win with those fusions. I've gotten into a couple of games with guys that have a bunch of fusions, and that's when you get into strategy and you can actually like extend a game. But most of the average players are just getting stomped by fusion cards, and I expect that they're going to come in at some point with some kind of balancing mechanic to ease the pain a little bit for the players.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed as far as the fusion cards, they're hard to meld for because you have to trade one card at a time. But this week, what Card Quest is doing, they've done it at least one time before, is if you buy the catch-up pack with the 9 cards released during the week, this week they're throwing in the fusion card that was released this week also.
Yeah, that was the...
So if you ever actually spend money in the app, this is one of the weeks where it's a good idea because you get the 9 cards released this week plus a fusion card.
Yeah,
plus
that was the Falco Hawkfish, which of course is known for his one hit in the 1980s, Der Kommissar. And he would always tell the other fish to not turn around. So, thank you. I've been waiting all week to make that terrible Falco joke, and there you go, the Falco Hawkfish joke, baby. It's done.
All right. I'm going to go a different route with my backpack. I still haven't fused anything. I've been kind of just squirreling away some coins lately, and I still haven't really fused. I don't trade a ton in there, but I've been up against a lot of those fusion cards, and I try and have 7 good offensive cards and then 5 good defensive cards, and then just pray that that fusion card that is going to hit me comes up late in the deck, and I've already skirted past them. So right now, that's my strategy. I'm still got a pretty good win percentage, in my opinion, but I try and keep about 4 or 5 of those defense cards that are around that 40-50 range, and then everything else just hopefully plays out. So
I was
that's been my strategy
surprised
so
they
far.
had the fusion in the ketchup pack. I didn't realize it was in there when I got it this morning, and then because I just melded for the Falco Hawkfish the other day, and then and I busted my ass getting all those cards together to fuse the damn thing, and then it's in the ketchup pack. So I felt kind of dumb having fused that. So I'll have to watch out for that in the future. But it's in my deck. I've been using it. It's a pretty good card because it's one of those that's an 8 instead of a 9, so it gives me a little more weight left in the other end of my backpack for playing. The game's kind of dumb and it's kind of repetitive, but one of the nice things versus a lot of the other apps is that you can play it as much as you want. And every time you win, it's 300 coins. Every time you lose, it's 100 coins. So you're getting something just for playing it. So if you've got some time to kill, to just sit down and just mindlessly play this game of head-to-head war, 10 of those games is 3,000 coins. So that takes no time at all to do that. Especially when I'm dropping that sperm whale, baby.
But a great thing is, even if you don't have time to kill, one thing about this game versus most card playing games is the games are relatively quick. I've had games last a minute and a half. I've had them last 4 minutes. They're relatively quick. You can literally squeeze a game in while you're standing at the corner waiting for the light to change.
Yeah,
So,
what I
one thing
usually
I like about
do...
it is something you can just step in and out of literally with just a couple minutes at a time.
Yeah, what I've been doing the last couple days with a lot of the, solo-based stuff, I'll put a post to Star Wars, go play a couple games on CardQuest, come back, check my trades, and I've just kind of bounce back in between the two apps. Before we move off of CardQuest, reminder that everyone's free code this week is Rainbow for your free coins. I think it was another 15,000 this week, Greg?
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
15,000. They're tapering those off. It seems to be dropping off a little bit in terms of their generosity with the free coins, but I can't complain. 15K is a nice amount.
Heck yeah.
It is.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm about to accept a trade, and I just finally freaking completed Hall of Heroes Gold.
Oh no!
Congratulations.
I've been working on that stupid thing forever, and I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Jackrabbit66. I've been trying to get that last card. It was Hera for the longest damn time, and I stumbled across this guy, Jackrabbit66, in the feed, and I threw a big overpay at him, and he communicated, just switched out a couple of things, and sent me, didn't try to destroy me or go after, reflections or anything stupid like that, and I just finished that set. I've been trying to get that thing put together. Somebody threw the award at me a while back for something, and I was like, oh, well, I should put this together, because like a 77 count award on that one. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this set. And man, I went great guns, and then 3 weeks I've been trying to get that Hera card. So I finally got the damn thing.
And Jack Rabbit, he's not a known name. People don't recognize his name as being one of the big players in the app. But he's a phenomenal trader. In the last 6 weeks, across all series and colors Baru, I've probably gotten 3,000 Baru from him. He just started sending trades one day for, like, it seemed like random base cards, and just dumped a ton of Baru on me.
That's nice. Hopefully he doesn't get deluged with stupid trades, but I did want to thank him for communication and working with me on helping me finish that set. It was very nice of him.
Yep, definitely one of the better traders I've experienced too, so
cool.
Shout out to him. What about Quid this week, Greg? I know we've been bouncing in and out of Quid for
really weird.
A little while.
I've been super busy and I haven't had time, and their drops are so frantic. They've been pumping the brakes a little bit. They've put out a couple of sets this week with some of those higher accounts again, and the 5,000 and the 10,000. They're not as insane as some of those ones where they were 25,000, 50,000 counts. They've put out a couple of things that are a little bit easier that actually last a few minutes. Even things that last, that like go 1,000 count, I've found tend to last at least long enough to get in there, pull some cards, and then you do some trade and then finish off your sets. So they dropped a few things this week that were kind of fun, which now right off the top of my head I can't recall. There was a Venom set, that weird tooth and Tooth and Claw set or whatever it was. That was a strange looking set. I wasn't really a huge fan, but I liked the counts. I think there was 1,000 count. And I really like how they're doing the balance across the board now with 1,000 for every card in the set. People used to just absolutely just rail you for a card 1 or 2. And now it's gotten a lot easier to trade around a later card in the deck to finish a set off. So I'm very much in favor of that move on their part.
Agreed. I think with them kind of going to sometimes that award mechanic and these accelerates, there's no real need to front load those first couple cards with the higher percentage pulls, or lower percentage pulls, excuse me. You know, like
they've had some killers, some killer sets this week that I missed. They did a couple of midnight drops on Rick and Morty for holograms. There was 2 hologram sets. There was a 2-card hologram, and then a couple nights later or a night later, another 2-card hologram set. And if you had collected all 4, there was an award for those. And they're nice looking cards, and they sold out fast in that. But I don't do midnight. To drop something at 4:30, man, I'll be on it like white on rice. But 12 o'clock at night, oh no, I'm not there for that.
Yeah, I think the only thing I really collected this week was that dumb Bob's Burgers set where it was the rooms of their house. Yeah, I collect dumb shit in Quid, man. Alan, how about you? I know you hoard. What was it again? The Pops.
I hoard any and all Twin Peaks. Right now they only have a
Pop
series and a figure series, but I hoard all the Twin Peaks. Every figure, every pop.
Well,
how are you ranked? How are you ranked on that?
On the Pops, I was ranked 7th, but then when they the packs weren't available for a while, but when they dropped the figures a couple weeks ago, they re-released what was left over of the Pops, and somehow I've dropped to 11th. But I'm working on trades trying to get back into the top 10 at least, and in these figures, I don't know what my rank is. I missed one of the first editions of the figures, but I now have about 40 of each of the figures now, but they're all second edition, so... the only set I did in Quid this week that I consciously went after was the Game of Thrones puzzle set.
Oh, I did that one too. That was a nice
and
set.
I went after it without even knowing it was an award set. I like the idea of, especially with first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth edition. I know there's at least one set I have that I have 6th edition cards of. But I like the idea of a small set that they say they're never going to re-release with an award. I guess that's because I'm more used to the Topps mentality of card collecting. But I really like that. It helps a set keep value more so than something that's got 8 editions out there.
Yeah, because sometimes that's where I usually get hung up in trades on Quid. Is first of all, it's tough to trade there, but second, you put out that you need something and you get hit with like a 5th edition something. You're like, I'm gonna pass because you just tried to take this 5. You know?
Yeah, I hate that. That's one of the things that drives me crazy about it, is that they do use those later editions as filler in a lot of things, and so you get these dummies that have tons of that stuff, and they just throw it like confetti at really good stuff, and it's like, no, I'm looking for bills here. I need some money, not confetti. So it drives me nuts. Quid trading is tough, and the best time to trade is when a drop has just happened and it's just sold out and you're trying to finish your set. If you've got enough of the cards in the set, you can finish the set pretty quickly and pretty easily with not a lot of that dumb crap. You'll still get the few randos that send you just bizarro stuff that you totally didn't even ask for, thinking you're gonna trade away dupes. But overall, it's much easier to finish sets there. Later on, it gets harder as the editions come out. You'll say, hey, I've got 1st edition this, I'm looking for 1st edition that, and you'll get 20 offers with the 3rd and 4th and 5th edition crap.
Yep. And if you guys noticed, maybe it's just me and I'm just been in Quid a little more lately, the rampant amount of trades from guest 80,297.
I've noticed that a lot.
You know, and it's just shit on each. It's like, here, let me take your lows on all this and offer you, one yellow archer base it's like, I'm going to end this trade. Thank you very much. Hopefully my finger doesn't slip along the way and the accept side.
And that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah. So I look at those guest names and I'm like, this is the equivalent of the old Twitter egg. Yeah, where people didn't have their avatars and they're like,
One thing about Quid that I like is, one thing I like about Quid, sorry to interrupt, is you can very quickly see somebody's start date. Unlike with a Topps app where you have to scroll through their awards to find their beginner award, if you quickly click on their profile, you can see their start date with one click, and you can determine if it's somebody who's just started yesterday or in the last week and may be a new account or a farm account or a spam account, or if it's somebody who's actually really been in there a while. And I like that I can quickly see that.
Yeah, I still hit end. So, any other apps you guys want to talk about before we shift over to Star Wars?
Well, I finished on Neon Mob. I finished the Juby Cover Girls finally.
Congratulations.
I was just running down chases on those. But I'm still pulling it. Even though I finished the set, I'm still pulling the damn things because I figure the dupes will probably have some heat long after the set sells out. It doesn't sell out till June. So I'm still pulling, and like this week, all of a sudden, I'm pulling the nude variants like they're going out of style. I pulled like 3 dupe nudes, so I'm just banking those suckers because I think that's a set that's going to have legs. And then I started a couple of new sets, and I've been doing that the Generals of the Civil War one, which are hilarious. And then I started a couple of other sets just because I'm desperate for content. And I'm still pulling Century Limited. Century Limited 1 is an ancient set. It's been around since almost the beginning of the app. It actually is a limited edition set, but you can only pull 2 free packs a day. And you only get 1 card in a pack. If you get a super pack, you get 2 cards. Wow. But they still have chase cards and extremely rares that aren't sold out in that set. And I finished it a while ago. It was a real bear. I literally pulled that card, that set for 2 years and just finished it recently. But I'm still pulling it just because there's free packs and there's still chases left on it because they do have a limited count on those. Now, the same guy did a set recently called Wings, it was an airplane set, and it was a very short duration set. It only came out for about a month and a half, and it sold out before I finished it. I missed I'm 2 chases shy of completion, and I don't have any more chases to trade on the thing. So this guy, Ray Lonsdale, does these sets. I like them. They're kind of photo pastiche type things. With interesting color schemes and stuff like that, and the Century Limited was a huge set. It told like some kind of story. It looked like it was almost storyboards for a movie. It was really strange, but it went on forever. And then this other one, it just boom, it's there and gone that quick, and I didn't have enough time to finish it, and didn't have enough luck to get all the chases I'd need to polish it off. So I'm too shy, and I'm never going to finish the dang thing, unless somebody comes at me with Juby Cover Girls.
Well, you said they have legs and tits and that.
They do, all that stuff, and the airplanes do not. The airplanes are not.
Well, the airplanes have tail.
Yes, and exhausts. and they know how to strut because they've got, that's a wing structure, a strut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They really rev your motor.
Can we go back to my Falco Hawkfish joke? That was my crowning glory. I think I should just unplug the damn computer right now.
Alan, how about you? What else do you collect in the other apps?
Right now, recently, my focus has mostly been in Star Wars Card Trader. In Slam, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I'm always collecting sets in Slam. I'm actually hoarding in Slam. I'm still hoarding Arn Anderson, who doesn't have a current base card, but everybody still seems to have a lot of Arn Anderson cards, so I grab them every chance I get. I'm doing several sets in Slam. I love the price of these sets in Slam. I think Slam does a better job of balancing out free-to-play friendly sets versus, crystal or diamond-only sets. I think they have the best balance of any of the Topps apps. In Quid, I chase every Elvis and Garfield set that comes along, and when I have coins, I chase random things. I think I did one Rick and Morty set this week, the Game of Thrones set, a few other things. And the other apps, I'm just collecting coins right now. I'm literally just hoarding coins.
Nice.
Well, except for Walking Dead, I do one or two marathons, and that I just finished up. I think Fear the Walking Dead Turning Point just finished. Those are supposed to be 1,500 count cards, but nobody likes the Fear the Walking Dead cards, so I think the highest count of any of those cards that it actually reached was about 700.
Yeah, I had great success cross trading with those gems the first go round, and then I got the big cash back, and now I'm building up coins again because I know that they're going to do a Maggie, and those gems, and that's like the Ray of Walking Dead. So I'm hanging on. I'm just building up credits again, and when those come out, they come out on Saturdays, right? So today it should be the next wave of those. So hopefully there'll be a Maggie in there, and if they do, I'm just going to dump all my credits again and try to meld up some rubies on the Maggie, because that should trade really well.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I did a couple of Walking Dead cross trades this week. So just got some old Star Wars shit. Nothing spectacular, but free zombie coins. Can't complain.
I did a wrestling cross trade this week, and I can't remember what it was now.
But the great thing about cross trading is you'll find players in the other apps who may have started out in Star Wars or given up on Star Wars, and you'll find a lot of older Star Wars in Bunt Players collections, and Walking Dead especially. I've noticed a lot of older Star Wars stuff can be found cross trading with those guys.
Yeah, I did a cross trade in Slam this week with a guy. He said he was getting out of Star Wars and he was looking only for Slam, and I've gathered up some pretty decent stuff. I know what goes there, the girls and stuff like that, and they have a lot of SIGs and things like that. And so he was looking for needs in Slam, and I didn't have enough to pull down anything low count, 1-to-1, but I had enough to buy an upgrade off of him. I had one of those dark purple from the collector box, and it was Snap Wexley. Wow. Terrible. 2018 garbage, low count, and then but he had an 8-count Chief Chirpa, one of those red lightsaber variants. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So it's a 2015 low count, and so I was able to throw a bunch of Slam stuff at him to pay for the upgrade, and so I basically flopped a garbage 2018 into a 2015. Not the greatest character, but still low count 2015, and it'll definitely have more gravitas in the app than this Snap Wexley ever would.
Definitely.
So that's a strategy I don't think a lot of people look at either, is in cross trading, and I do it pretty successfully a lot, using stuff in other apps to buy an upgrade in my main app. So I will say, okay, I'm going to give you some value here in Star Wars for this value you have here, and I'm also going to give you a bunch of this stuff in this other app that you're asking for, and basically paying into the value on this side over here. You can move up stuff that's not doing really anything for you in Star Wars, so things that may have a little more openings, a little more potential.
Kind of getting to Star Wars, we got some Star Wars stuff this week. We got marathons.
Yeah, new mechanic too, and the Civil Wall, the paywall has come back again. The first transmission, which was the first one? The Moments was the first one.
The first one was the
comic art.
Which one? Which was the first?
Comic card art. The Chewbacca.
Card art. That's okay. They came out, and that reminds me of the people said it reminded them of Icons. It's kind of a static, not that great looking set, but I like the Moments set a lot. I think that's a cool looking card.
Yeah, we got comic card art, which is not bad. It's kind of on that new solo background. I assume it's going to be all solo cards. We've got the Last Jedi Moments, which is the full bleed, images from the movie. The first one was the Poe Dameron, and then we got Fans Choice, and that mechanic's changed too. It's just straight up free.
Yeah, for the better.
Yeah, straight up free, and then there's a crystal variant for that. But with the comic card art, we had some issues with the transmission, and I know, Alan, this hit you and a couple other people that went that crystal route. Did you want to kind of tell us what happened to you?
Yeah, I thought it was just me at first, but I talked to several other players, including one well-known whale who had the same issue, which is what convinced me to submit a ticket with Tops about it. The original transmission stated that you could pull via crystal at time of drop. It was 1 in 10 or 12 odds in a 55 crystal pack. 3 hours later, they dropped basically a master access credit pack. If you made a purchase today, you could pull via credit at 1 in 30 odds. And then 2 hours after that, you could pull from the regular credit pack at 1 in 30 odds. It said in the transmission that if you pulled from a credit pack, you can only pull once via credit, and then you wouldn't see the pack again until the next week's release. But you could pull as many as you wanted via crystal. Nowhere did it say that if you pulled via crystal first, it eliminated your credit pack option. And at first I thought I might have been reading it wrong, but I asked several other people, and they agreed with me and had some complaints, because it should have been clear if you pulled via crystal, it eliminates the credit pack option for you. They should have made that clear at first, and if they had, a lot of people would have gone a different route as far as which way they chose to chase the card first. I know I would have. I know several other people who would have also. So I submitted a ticket expressing my confusion and expressing that several of us had gone via crystals, assuming that the credit option would still be available since it didn't state otherwise. Tops basically sent me the generic canned response that, we work to alleviate errors in the app. They then quietly updated the transmission to say, for clarity, if you pull via crystal, you won't see the credit pack. I'm happy they updated the transmission to, eliminate any confusion, but they should have at least made a point of updating the transmission so everybody knew there was a change to the transmission. They didn't. They just snuck the line in there. And then when TLJ Moments Marathon dropped, which uses basically the same mechanic, they had the clarified language in there. But I think they should have at least addressed the fact that there was confusion and made it clear that they changed the transmission, and they didn't. I'm fine with not getting a refund on the 220 crystals I spent chasing the card originally. I just wanted them to clarify the language, which they did, but they should have made it clear that they clarified the language.
Yeah, they didn't put update :
correct. They didn't put update.
They just altered the
literally
transmission.
just snuck the line in the bottom of the transmission.
Yeah.
That's kind of crappy. So,
well, it's one of the recurring problems with them is their inability to admit they've made a mistake. And it goes such a long way with people in terms of how they feel about things when they just say, "Hey, we screwed up. We're really sorry, and here's an update." Quid does it all the time when they do make mistakes. People say a lot of good stuff about Quid, but they do screw up from time to time. But when they do, they address it. They act like adults about it and say, "Look, we screwed up, and we apologize. We apologize for that, and we're going to try to do better. And and here's our solution if it's giving credits or whatever it is that they're trying to do to make people feel better." Tops's first instinct is to throw a blanket over the turd and leave the room.
Now, I think they. I don't want to say this because it sounds conspiracy theory.
And not that I've ever done that, by the way.
But somebody mentioned to me that Tops may have deliberately left the transmission ambiguous. There may have been a deliberate ambiguity there, hoping that people would spend crystals first. Somebody suggested that possibility to me, and that's somebody who's pretty well known in the app. And I thought, I just think that
they probably didn't program their mechanic properly. They said, okay, if you pull, then boom, your option disappears, and they did it across the board. And then they realized after the fact, oh shit, people are pulling this with crystals, and now they can't pull any with credits, and that wasn't what we intended. Or it wasn't what we stated, but obviously, because they just half-ass everything.
Because I think that if people had been able to pull via credit after pulling via crystal, that would be a good thing for Tops. It would help sell more of the card. For example, in my case, I pulled via crystal. I was going to pull another one or two via credit to have as trade bait for later. It would have helped the card sell out faster, which means next week more people would have been more likely to buy via crystals. That would have been the way.
It's going to crush trading, though. This limitation of dupes is really going to crush trading pretty bad. Because that's why are you going to trade away your singles? If you're trying to collect a set and all you can pull is one, you're not trading those. And it took forever for that the Moments thing. Did it even sell out yet?
Yes,
I
it
think
finally
it did.
sold out.
Good
Yeah.
Lord! I mean, it's 1,000 count or something like that. It's not super high count, but it sat around for days and days and days.
And exactly the kind of card we want in the app. A full bleed card, no border, no variants.
No.
Just a
Decent
gorgeous
count.
card. And it sat, 3 days?
Yeah, and
before it came out?
it wasn't the greatest looking card, but you can see the potential if they put a really nice space scene, or God help us when they put some Ray cards in there, or some cool thing with Kylo.
Or Holdo.
Yeah, those are going to be hot cards. Those will wake right up. And they didn't do anything to stop the farmers. So, all the usual suspects had tons of them for sale. I picked mine up for it was $1.36 or something on eBay. So they were dirt cheap and plenty of them out there. So I'm not sure exactly.
I like that they're trying a different mechanic. I like them trying different mechanics to try to figure out a way to cut back on farmers. I respect the attempt and the intention. I just think this wasn't the way to do it, because any farmer who's really, truly farming enough to try to make money is going to break the paywall of every account he has. All it takes is one 99-cent purchase one time,
Yeah.
and they're going to do that
And then
every
they can
time.
use the crystals for something else. They can recoup
Exactly.
that. Law of averages says they'll recoup off 99 cents. You pulled in 225 on the thing, and there's other things you can throw at, like the mall, where you can get a big payoff, or even, God forbid, chance packs on reflection or reflective gloss and stuff, where you get the big payback.
Oh, reflective gloss. Let's talk about that for a
Can
second.
we just not?
We're-
Jesus, I hate that goddamn shit.
Just a second. Just a second. That's all I'm asking. We're on set B, and it's lenticular. Woohoo! And it is expensive as hell.
Yeah, they
So-
doubled down on that thing like nobody's business, man.
So I think it's average $70 to pull. If you
$70,
hit the hours.
$72, yeah.
Yeah, we looked at that and said they must have looked at eBay and said, how much are these selling for on eBay? Okay, that's how much it's going to cost in crystals to pull the damn thing on odds.
Yep. So
I think Topps is trying to artificially create demand. They're following the unfortunate path that comic books did in the 90s and are doing now with all of these, trying to make things seem premium that aren't.
Yeah.
The lenticular...
Tell that to the guy that has all 5 covers of Jim Lee's X-Men #1, including the deluxe still in the bag. Okay.
That would be me, you, and a lot of people. The lenticular reflective gloss, I think that is not a premium card. I think they want to make it premium, but the users know it's not premium. The card, I think, hadn't sold out the last time I
No,
looked.
it did sell out, but the content's
Did it
not
sell out?
premium. A stormtrooper
No.
with stars in his eyes
This-
what the hell is that? No, that's
Several
not in a
people have
movie.
mentioned it. This would have been a perfect replacement for Spacefarer at $3 to $5 per pull. Make it crystal only. This card would have been an acceptable replacement for Spacefarer, which was awful. This card is not Reflections Part 2.
no.
And my problem with this set is my same problem with Comic Cardboard, which I love. I love that 4-card set. But set A, set B, this gives Topps the option now to just 26 sets if they want. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and on, without ever saying how many sets there's going to be.
Well, the
So I'm
comic,
not-
the
I'm
comic
not a fan of
cardboard,
lettering, though.
the comic cardboard looked like it was setting up to be a really nice award set, award, because they hadn't sold out a bunch of the cards. There was even some of their gildeds out of that set that had not sold out. And one of the cards, I think the Han Solo one, was sitting about 230 something, and it hadn't sold out, and they were out of packs. And I thought, okay, well, they're going to do what they've been doing, run through the deadline, give the award, and then dump those out into something else, and get rid of them that way. But what they've done is they held off on the award deadline, then dumped them out into another. All of them are in a pack with the gilded and everything. Go ahead, go crazy, and buy them out. And now they're going to sell those out before they get to the award, which is the 22nd. That's tomorrow. So it's a short span, but they were determined to sell those things out on crystals this time at before award and keep that premium for themselves. And it's going to end up being a higher award as a result. I can't complain. I backed into the set. I didn't ever intended to get it, but a guy threw a couple at me for the speed lines I got off the guy that had 45 of them. So then I one-packed the third one and then one-packed the last one on the premium, so I'm done. I got the set. It's a great-looking set, but I am a little salty about how they're running up the awards on that. Especially when they've said in the past things like protecting the value for those who bought legitimately, and then they do shit like this to fuck over everybody's value.
All they're doing is protecting the value for them.
Yes.
You know.
Right. And my issue with it,
They're not really your friend, baby. They're not really.
I have an issue with the pack containing all the remaining cards anyway, because when the first card in the set dropped, it ended at 396 out of 400. When the second card dropped, those last 4 cards from the first card were not in the pack with the second card.
Yeah, they didn't stack.
But when the third card dropped, the remaining cards of the second one were in that pack. So they've had no consistency across these 4 cards whatsoever. So they've done nothing to make this set protected as far as value, because first of all, they didn't stack in pack 2, then they did stack in pack 3, then they didn't stack in pack 4, and now everything that's left is in a pack together. It's just, I'm actually regretting chasing this set now because of the headaches I've had with trying to figure out what's there and what's not.
I have no regrets because I picked it up easy and cheap, and I didn't throw a lot of premium stuff at it to get it. So, but I'll be definitely looking with a more jaundiced eye at a future drop on that when Set B comes out. I don't think I'll continue on with it. I love the artwork. No borders, no variants, nice count, good looking set. But they're they gotta screw it up somehow every time. So tops.
Yep. So we got a couple other things out this week. One is solo bass for the movie. So we've got now all the variants out there. We've got the white, the blue, red, green, orange, and the purple previews. This has been trading pretty well. The awards for them is tonight for the special Lando variant. I don't even know what that looks like yet, but I did 3 of the parallels, and so did my wife, so we're ready for that. Not too much to say about those other than I think they look pretty good.
Base chases are fun, and it wasn't a killer. It was like 17 cards or something. Those are,
Just 17.
Easy. I did red, white, and blue because I love America.
See, I did red, white, and blue because I didn't want to spend crystals on it.
That too. That too. I had some coins, so it was easy to. I got on a run on my alt where reds were just flying out there. You know how sometimes you get on it and it's like a hot machine or something, and I was just every pack red. And I never look. I don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at my cards. I like buy and flip, buy and flip, buy and flip. Set my budget and blow through it, and then look and see what I got. But when I'm doing that, I can see just red, 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 red. So it was easy for me to finish that setup, and it's fun. And you have to collect your first award, the Val variant, with your awards. You have to go in and open the old cardboard thing with your awards.
Old school.
My wife had to tell me that. I was like, when does that Val award? She's like, you get it right now, idiot. Go open your award, and it's there. And I said, oh, that's nice.
And are any of you guys doing the Last Jedi vehicle base?
I am.
Base inserts?
I am. I'm doing 5 of these 6 variants, actually.
Oh,
holy moly.
What's the gold is the big one, yeah? That's
the gold is the one I'm avoiding. The gold, I think, is 1 in 5 or 1 in 20 in the 1125 crystal pack.
Ooh.
There's no way. There's no way I would chase that.
That's steep.
My goodness.
I know there'll be a Fulminatrix because they always drop the Dreadnought in these vehicle sets, and I'll probably go after a couple of those. But that's I can't do the whole set.
Yeah, I started out doing the blue, and I was going to do the red meld. And after the first one, I'm like, I'm just doing the 1 in 5.
Well, some sets just catch me, and this one did. The thing about this set is, the the blue is 1 in 5 in credit packs. 5 blues meld into a red. 5 reds meld into a green. If you buy the Mega Crystal pack, that contains the green, so you don't have to meld for that, the purple, and the black. It doesn't contain a blue or a red, though. So you still have to go in via either smaller crystals or credits and buy blues and meld to the red.
That's so weird.
So,
are those guaranteed in those upper packs?
in the 1125 crystal pack, you're guaranteed a green, a black, and a purple with a shot at the gold.
That's not bad. That's not
The
bad.
blue and red, you still have to go through it and meld.
Have you
meld
pulled
up
any
the-
golds?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, not yet.
I mean, that's not too bad, I guess, when you consider that if you were to do a green on credits, I think it's 625,000 credits for a green. If you're
And I
doing
think-
5 times 5 times 5.
And I think the lowest green
Star
so
Wars
far
Card Trader
is
Rain Man
97.
over here.
No, I did on a calculator earlier this week. That was
okay.
fun.
Yeah, the green so far, I think the lowest green has been at 97. So by the time we get through 2 waves, I think that's going to continue to drop significantly.
Yeah, it'll fall off.
And with 3 awards between the 2 waves and the overall award, that's 17 total vehicles. I've been trying to think of 17 different vehicles that they could be using, and I run out at about 10.
Well, the Fulminatrix
Yeah,
will definitely be in there. I guarantee it.
I will.
I'll-
And I'm guessing the awards will be the X-Wing, the Falcon, and maybe Kylo's silencer. I'm
Well,
guessing are going to be the awards.
I guess I'll probably throw an 1125 pack at the Fulminatrix when that drops. Just because my Kennedy fleet, I have to keep my Kennedy fleet going.
Yep. So with the melds, we've seen a lot more melds lately. We've seen these vehicles. We've now seen the Last Jedi character melds. We've done the premiere melds. So it seems like melding is back on Topps' collective conscience. And it got us really talking in our group about some of the best and worst times of melding with the 2015s. And I wanted to kind of just remind everyone, if they weren't in the app at the time, what that looked and felt like. Because it's vastly different from kind of the get it done in, a week kind of deal melds that we've had lately, and with the extended meld period of the audience. But one of the things that we had in 2015 were the pink melds, where you collected a bunch of gold cards and you melded those into this pink 10 count, and it was a race against the clock to get it. And some of us were lucky, some like myself were not so lucky. So I know we've all been in the app a long time to experience and live through that hell. What were your guys' experiences?
I had a great experience with the pink melds only because of timing. When my card that I was sorting, Baru, when she came up for the pink, at 1:45 in the afternoon, it was either a Monday or a Tuesday, the tweet came from Claudia, SWCT Info. I love her to death. These are the ones coming up at 2 o'clock. So I had a 15-minute heads up. I literally restarted the app at 1:59 in about 40 seconds and immediately jumped in and hit it. And as it melded, it said sold out. So I was maybe 18 to 20 seconds into it being available. And as I melded mine, it said sold out.
Yeah, those were
They went
insane.
they went that fast. In fact, there was a few people at the time. One whale I spoke to back then, he was trying to meld for every pink, every drop. And his strategy was meld for the most popular characters first in descending order, and try to get lucky. And he said that even at that, he was missing 5 of the 10 that were dropping each day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were crazy times, and you never knew who was going to be what. And then they also ratcheted up. They started at, did they start at maybe, was it 20?
They started at 20, went to 25, then 30, then 40. At the end, it was 70.
Yeah, they started at 20, and there was a lot of really popular characters early on at 20. And back then, golds were like gold. I mean, they were really tough to get, and it was still early enough in the app. And they were tough to get, but people had kind of forgotten about golds. And then all of a sudden, they became incredibly valuable because what they were doing... what people may not realize, we're talking about these pinks, these were 10 count cards. At the time, 10 count was like the highest, rarest thing you could possibly get your hands on. Like elegant weapon golds and things like that were 10 count. And that was like the high watermark for low count stuff. And so they were basically giving these things away if you could get in and meld them fast enough. And so, they had the schedule where it ratcheted up. They drop a few every day, and everybody was on deck and ready to go for their guy. All the hoarders and the character collectors were like, slobbering for these things. And most of my hoards, luckily, my experience was pretty good. I think I was able to meld for all the guys that I wanted, because my guys were just kind of lesser lights. But a lot of them too were really late. Dak Ralter, my main hoard in he was an S2 guy. He was like in the last batch. It was 70 freaking golds for that guy. It was horrible. But luckily I had, it wasn't like a mad rush. I could, there's Dak Ralter. How delightful. Take a sip of my tea here before I press meld. Oh, yes, lovely. I got him. But whereas my wife was hoarding Padme and Leia and Corday and all these really rare ones, and she actually came up with a screenshot the other day of the Padme, the Tatooine Padme that she tried to meld, where it had sold out before she was able to meld. She screen capped it, probably in rage of it being sold out and not getting it. But we were able to trade for it pretty quickly somehow. We probably threw God knows what at it to get it.
Yeah, I was kind of the opposite with that. I had a situation similar to your wife, Greg, where I had 80 Dooku's ready, just in case they bumped it up again on me. And I was ready. I saw Claudia's tweet. Same deal as Alan. I was ready to go. I ducked away from my desk at work. I went in, kind of this little nook off to the side, fired up the app, and at the time, people forget just how stable the app was. And it was rock solid as far as it never crashed. You didn't have to restart it. So I hadn't really done much melding at that point outside of Smuggler's Den stuff like blues to reds, reds to green, or reds to yellows, etc. And those things are already preloaded and set. So I went in there and I knew it was coming up. I saw the tweet, I saw the transmission, and I couldn't get it to show up in the Smuggler's Den. And I'm like, crap, where is it? I kind of refreshed the app, but not actually the way I was supposed to. I was like pulling down and hopefully it'd show up
you had to force restart.
Rather than force restart it. By the time I kind of put two and two together, it was gone. I was just like in a rage, not at anything but myself. And I was just like, went kind of just sulked back to my desk and was just like, F this. And I was just traded off almost every single one of those golds for other golds. And I was just like, screw this, hoarding's over. This isn't what I'm doing. And I think I got down to about 4 or 5 of them. Now I'd kill for those 70 golds back again. You
didn't hold your phone to your face and go, I love you, 80 golds. I have 80 golds. I'm hoarding these golds.
I went in the feed and went, dupes for needs, get this crap out of here and away from my face.
Yeah, I had a picture of your phone sticking out of the drywall.
Pretty much. I couldn't hit accept fast enough on some of those. But, in the end, I had very positive experiences with the Monument melds and the later S3 and S3 expansion gold melds. Love those. So, for those that are newer to the app, man,
it was the best of times.
How stressful that was.
It was the worst of times.
And we've got examples of both.
The meld mechanic generally, I think, is a great aspect of the app. The S3 and S3X golds, those were fun because when they started, they dropped them without any warning. The first one I think might have been Qui-Gon Jinn. Meld 100 white Qui-Gon Jinn to get a gold, and then they changed the number of cards you needed along the way to X number of whites, blues, reds, etc. Mm-hmm. But those were fun. I think
nice reward for the character collectors. We've talked about the requirements of multiple colors and things like that to pull those off is a real reward for the character collector because those guys already had those.
And I think if Topps wanted to do something to appease the free-to-play players and the hoarders without worrying about monuments, they could take a page from another app's, playbook. With the recent TLJ melds, you had 24 hours to meld. Maybe they should do something like Kitten Cards has done. Meld 1,000 of your blue Kitten card to get a blue glass. Meld 1,000 red to get a red glass. And just have an open-ended meld option to meld for a special card. It wouldn't cost them any extra work except to just put a border around a card and stick it in the smuggler's den. And just leave it open-ended. Meld 1,000 of this card for this color variant of it. Meld 1,000 reds, etc., etc. I think that would be a great way to keep players engaged in the app, like the free packs we have now that make you go back into the app several times a day when you see the notification. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great idea, and maybe Topps doesn't want to hear what I have to say, but anything to keep people in the app I think is a good thing.
Well, check your email, because I think they just sent you an email from Derek saying, we try to address problems in the application whenever we can. Their boilerplate shit that made you so mad the other day. They sent you another copy related to this. I don't know. I like that, and I melded for some of those kitten card things, and what was cool about those was if you melded the first one, you got number one. If you melded the second one, you got number two. So I actually have number ones of my hoards all the way through those, because I had hoards and kitten cards, because I'm that fucking lame.
And maybe Topps could come up with a way for me to use the 500 wood I still have waiting around, hoping for an Ewok village to go into the smuggler's den.
That would be awesome. Yeah, they kind of forgot about those resource cards. It was cool that time they did one of the coolest melds they ever did, I thought, was that Phasma metal helmet that they did, where you had to meld a bunch of stuff, and they really record scratched everybody with that one when they had requirements of TK in there and stuff. A really old card that wasn't particularly rare. They were around, but everyone was just like, what the heck? And they really kind of had a hodgepodge of different things you needed to put that together. And that was a really cool meld, and I thought it was incredibly creative. And I don't think they've done anything that creative with melding in a long time.
They tried once to use older cards with these sketch-to-screen melds. Sketch-to-screen were the cards that had like the concept art next to a shot of the finished character. And they required a red Series 1, Series 2. These cards came out around the time of Series 3X, I think. And it required a red of a Series 1, Series 2 as part of the meld to get the whatever color variant of sketch-to-screen it was. And there were a lot of players who didn't have a lot of those reds, especially like the Padme that wasn't as common as some of the other cards, and the R2 that wasn't as common. I like those surprise needs. I like things that catch me off guard like that.
Yep, definitely.
Well, it puts a kick into the economy too. The game's interesting when the economy is interesting, and there's winners and losers. And, you get the scratch-off lucky millionaire guy that happens to have that TK that everybody needs, and he's going to get a really nice trade for somebody that's desperate to get that meld completed in time and stuff. And that's an interesting thing, and it's fair. It could happen to anyone, you know what I mean? And they should be more creative with stuff like that and use the den to keep things interesting. They get so tied up in monetizing everything that they forget that they need players to spend.
Exactly.
So, that sounds like a great place to wrap it up. Alan, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Remind everyone how they can find you in the apps again.
I am Tatooine Dawn in every card trader app you can think of. And I'm Imaginations Attic on Twitter. That's where you can find me outside of the card trader apps normally. Tatooine Dawn everywhere cards are traded.
Awesome. Greg, any final thoughts before we go?
No, man. I think we nailed it this week. We got a lot of good stuff. 5 minutes from now, I'll think of something and I'll go, damn it, I should forgot. But that's what happens. So, but we'll get it next week. If it's that important.
Yep. And just a reminder, everyone, give us a follow on @HoardCast on Twitter, and we'll probably have another giveaway this week, I think. And if you're looking to be our featured hoarder, there's a pinned tweet on there. Just reply to that, give us a follow, and you might see yourself on Twitter next week as one of our featured hoarders. Can't thank everyone enough for joining us as usual, and we'll see you next time.
Arrivederci. It's nice.
We are Legion.
We are all.
We are one.
We are.
Watching. Hoard Illuminati.